Top TV, Truth of the People.
We change curriculum because the changes taking place in society demand that we change accordingly and align ourselves to the changing times.
The education system in Kenya has quite evolved over the years, from the era of 7423 to the 844 system, and now courtesy of the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, KICD, we do have the 2663 system that is being implemented in our schools as we speak right now. So why 2663? Why the change? Why was 844 abandoned? We seek to shed more light on why the change of education system in Kenya, and also find out the merits and demerits. Nelson Mandela once said education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And courtesy of that, the literacy level in Africa, more so Kenya, has been growing immensely. But a little bit of history: how was Kenya's education system back then, and how was the trajectory to where we are right now? In 1967, that is 3 years after Kenya became a republic, the East African countries, that is Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya, shared a similar system of education, that is the 7423 system, which meant 7 years of primary education, 4 years of secondary education, 2 years in high school, and 3 years of university education. Learners in primary sat for a regional examination called EACPE, that is East African Certificate of Primary Education, while students in secondary did EACE, which is East African Certificate of Examination. Learners had to go through 2 more years of high school, and the high school exams are called EAACE, East African Advanced Certificate of Education. In the year 1977, EAC collapsed, so Kenya was forced to change the names of examinations right from the primary level to secondary. EACPE, East African Certificate of Primary Education, was changed to CPE, Certificate of Primary Education, whereas EACE, East African Certificate of Education, was changed to KCE, Kenya Certificate of Education. In 1985, the 844 system was introduced, where learners had to go through 8 years of primary education, 4 years of secondary education, and finally 4 years of tertiary education. In this bracket falls quite a number of Kenyans who went through this system, and without any proof of evidence, the outcome is crystal clear. CPE, Certificate of Primary Education, was once again changed to KCPE, Kenya Certificate of Primary Education, as KCE, Kenya Certificate of Education, was changed to Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education. In 2006, a program through government was initiated to review the education system in Kenya. Kenya Institute of Education was the body tasked with reviewing Kenya's education system. That was before the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution. KIE was later on replaced by KICD. Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, which was formed in 2013 through an Act of Parliament, proposed to replace the 844 system with 2663, which is otherwise known as CBC, Competency-Based Curriculum. CBC was launched in 2017, and it was designed to emphasize the significance of developing skills and knowledge, and also applying those competencies to real-life situations. This initiative was strongly seconded by President Uhuru Kenyatta, who called on all teachers to support the new system, whose major aim was to not only teach learners but also impact them with the new necessary skills and values.
I call upon all stakeholders to be fully committed to the development of our young people as we roll out the new competency-based curriculum.
CBC has been described by educationists to be learner-centered and adaptive to the changing needs of students, without forgetting teachers and probably also the society. CBC has been structured as a 2663 model of education, where in pre-primary, which is abbreviated as PP1 and PP2, learners will take 2 years. From pre-primary, learners will move to lower primary, which was before known as classes 1, 2, 3, but under CBC, the name class has been replaced by grade, and so grade 1, 2, and 3. Learners will spend 3 years in this bracket before exiting middle school at the end of grade 3. From lower primary, learners will move to upper primary, which used to be known as class 4, 5, and 6 in the 844 system, but now referred to as grade 4, 5, and 6. Upper primary is part of middle school. It is also a 3-year program where learners are exposed to a broad curriculum and given an opportunity for exploration and experimentation. From upper primary, learners who have completed grade 6 will then join secondary. Secondary has been divided into 2 levels. That is lower secondary, which will consist of grade 7, 8, and 9, which will take 3 years. In this level, learners will explore own abilities, personality, and potential basis for choosing subjects according to career paths or interest. Senior school will have grade 10, 11, and 12, and in here, it will be all about their careers, from where they'll choose which trajectory to take depending on their interest between arts and sports science, social science, and STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, or mathematics. From senior school, learners will finally move to higher education, that is in universities and colleges, depending on the course the learner will be doing, and it is expected to take at least 3 years. A number of parents, including teachers too, are quite skeptical about the whole idea of CBC, a scenario that saw the Ministry of Education under CS for Education Professor George Magoha differ sharply with NAS Secretary General back then Wilson Sossion, who claimed that they were not given full information of what CBC entails and its particulars. Sossion stated that the country was not ready for a change of curriculum, and also teachers were less in number in the framework of teacher-student ratio.
The ministry has distributed more than 12 million competency-based books to schools, and this process continues as I talk to you. What the hell do you want, and who the hell do you think you are to be saying that nothing is going on? None of us is Jesus Christ, for heaven's sake. And I want to assure the country, with all humility, that this is the right thing to do. We have trained recently over 91,000 teachers. Teacher training is going to be continuous. So in August, we shall train the balance of the primary school teachers. The Good Ministry this month trained an additional 1,400 education officers on the management and supervision. I have made certain changes, and I want to say in very simple English that I shall continue to make those changes. I want to have a critical team in the ministry that shall help me to deliver the competency-based curriculum.
In 2018, the government, through the Ministry of Education, trained a number of teachers across the country with the aim of preparing them and impacting them with knowledge, skills, and attitude so as to effectively implement CBC. The rollout of this new curriculum has been displayed as the best thing to ever happen in the education sector, but as the saying goes, what is deemed to be so good also has its shortfalls, and when talking about CBC, it is crystal clear that the marginalization gap has largely been widened. Before CBC was brought into the picture, the education sector was faced with quite a number of challenges, including inadequate number of classes in schools, inadequate resources in terms of desks and books, which up to date some schools are still grappling with these conundrums, which have lasted for more than 20 decades as new administrations come in and leave power. The whole idea of CBC is to impact learners with skills, which was partly done in the 844 system through subjects like art and craft or home science. Now, to apply CBC in some marginalized regions like northern parts of Kenya, it means more resources will be needed to do so. In CBC, there will be no grading of children, unlike in the 844 system where we knew who were the best performing learners, which schools topped in national examinations, and the other way around. There will be no repeating of classes, thus bringing into question how will the examiners know that this student is fit in terms of performance to go to the next class or not, or even which criteria will be used to promote students to the next class. According to officials from Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development KICD, formative and summative assessment will be used to merit the learners. The goal of formative assessment is to monitor student learning to provide ongoing feedback that can be used by instructors to improve their teaching and by students to improve their learning, whereas summative assessment will be used to evaluate student learning at the end of an instructional unit by comparing it against some standard.
Let them the infrastructure that is required, follow the curriculum. So that is the way it is, because I've seen people say, do we have enough infrastructure? I tell them, which ones? That has nothing to do with the curriculum. Curriculum will change with the infrastructure. Actually, even if you are learning under tree, the curriculum you'll be given should be relevant. So if our learners are already disadvantaged that some don't have enough infrastructure, then you give them a curriculum that was for the previous century, then it's double jeopardy. So you'd rather give them the correct curriculum and then they learn under that kind of environment.
The Jubilee government back in 2018 promised to broaden the learning system through issuing each and every student with a laptop, they so dubbed analog to digital. This project has partially been done as some schools are yet to receive those laptops. As the new curriculum is being rolled out in schools, one party seems to be hanging on the cliff on what they are supposed to do and what is their role in this new curriculum apart from paying school fees. Some parents are completely in total darkness as to what this CBC thing is all about, but they have no otherwise but try to spare some time to catch up with the new phrases in town like grade instead of class or lower secondary instead of Form 1. Parents have confirmed that indeed the kind of homework that they help their children do while at home is completely different from the previous one of 844. For them, is a wait and see to find out if the new curriculum is the best way to go. For now, they have their own reservations. Abel Nicanor Omasete for Top TV.